What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Wednesday, October 18th, 2023, and I have another emergency update to share with you guys. Right now, it is 11:06 a.m. Eastern Time here in the United States. I wanted to update you on the situation in the Middle East. So, right now, Biden is in Israel meeting with the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu. He's also meeting with Israel's war cabinet. And also, Vladimir Putin is in China right now meeting with Xi Jinping. So, we have the two major nuclear powers in meetings today, important meetings that are going to decide the future of this world. Okay, so I want to update you on some of the statements that were made at these meetings. The first thing I want to update you on is what Vladimir Putin said. So, according to him, Russia's going to start doing combat air patrols in the Black Sea, and they're going to have MiG 31K fighter jets loaded with the Kinzhal hypersonic missiles, which have 1,000-kilometer range, and they're also nuclear capable. And so these fighter jets with the hypersonic missiles are going to be doing patrols in the Black Sea, okay, which doesn't sound really that alarming, but when you look at the map, it actually puts the U.S. Aircraft carriers operating in the Eastern Mediterranean within striking distance of those Russian hypersonic missiles. Okay, so it's possible that, this war could escalate in that Russia may fire hypersonic missiles from the Black Sea into the Eastern Mediterranean to try to take out one of our aircraft carriers. Okay, and if that were to happen, that would escalate to nuclear war. All right, but we have Biden saying that the responsibility for the hospital attack is not with Israel, it's with Hamas, it's with the other side. That's what he says here in this live broadcast, okay? And it's not live now, but it was live, obviously, when it was filmed. So I want to play this clip for you so you can hear what Biden says. But Biden basically is placing the blame on the hospital attack in Gaza on Hamas and not on Israel, which is pretty surprising. I was very surprised when I heard this. And so what does this mean? This means that the U.S. is basically all in this war against Hamas and potentially Hezbollah and potentially Iran and anybody else that would get involved. Okay, so this is basically Biden giving Israel a green light to go into Gaza. And this is the U.S. basically saying, we have your back. And if you get attacked by Hezbollah or by Iran, we're going to back you up. Okay, so very concerning stuff, guys. Okay, especially what Vladimir Putin said. Okay, having those combat air patrols in the Black Sea puts U.S. aircraft carriers within striking distance of Russian hypersonic missiles that could be launched from those fighter jets. And those are nuclear capable hypersonic missiles. Okay, so before I continue with the breaking news, I just want to ask you guys to pray for someone. One of my subscribers left me a comment on my last upload, and I want to read to you what this person wrote. So here we go. NYP, thank you for keeping us posted and for all your hard work and dedication. Fairly new subscriber here. Rough morning as we found out my fiance has breast cancer. Trying to be the positive rock she needs while trying to prep and stay informed. I'm beyond terrified, to say the least. If it's not too much to ask, please include her in your prayers, as we need it more now than ever before. I continue to pray for peace in this world, along with praying for my fiance. Thanks again for keeping us updated, and hope everyone stays safe. So please pray for this person. Their YouTube name is BT606. That's spelled BEETEE 606. Okay. So I want to just play this video for you guys so you can hear exactly what Biden says at this meeting with Netanyahu, basically saying that it was Hamas's fault for the hospital attack and not Israel's fault.
I was deeply saddened and outraged by the explosion at the hospital in Gaza yesterday. And based on what I've seen, it appears as though it was done by the other team, not you. But there's a lot of people out there not sure. So we've got to overcome a lot of things.
So let's just play that again.
Outraged by the explosion at the hospital in Gaza yesterday. And based on what I've seen, it appears as though it was done by the other team, not you.
So he says, I'm deeply outraged by the hospital explosion yesterday, and he says it appears as though it was done by the other team and not you.
But there's a lot of people out there not sure.
But there's a lot of people out there who are not sure.
So we've got to overcome a lot of things.
So we got to overcome a lot of things. And the Pentagon has provided evidence that Israel did not strike a hospital in Gaza. That's what Biden said. Okay. Biden also says that the truth is that the war in Israel will be long. Okay. The Russian Foreign Ministry is demanding that Israel provide satellite images to prove that it is not responsible for the attack on the hospital, okay? And they're considering the attack on the hospital a crime and an act of dehumanization. Israel must provide satellite images that prove it is not responsible for the attack, okay? So Russia is fully on the side of Hamas and fully against Israel, which is basically biblical. And we have the Egyptian president al-Sisi saying that the idea of displacing Palestinians to Sinai means dragging Egypt into a war against Israel. Okay, so strong threats there from the Egyptian president, basically saying that if Israel kicks out the Palestinians from Gaza and they go into Egypt, that would bring Egypt into the war on the side of the Palestinians against Israel, okay, on the side of Hamas. Egyptian President al-Sisi also said, I propose to transfer civilians from Gaza to the Israeli Negev desert until the end of military operations. So he's asking the civilians from Gaza to go to the Negev desert in Israel. Okay, but strong words there from the Egyptian president, basically saying he doesn't want any refugees, and that if they permanently displace these refugees to the point where basically Israel occupies the Gaza Strip, that Egypt would get involved, okay, into a war against Israel, okay? So he clearly says it. This means dragging Egypt into a war against Israel. All right. So all these countries are turning on Israel. Egypt, Russia, Iran, obviously, Lebanon, all these countries, even Jordan. Okay. Jordan's even turning on Israel. So this is all biblical. And we have some news coming out of Iran that's also very concerning. Apparently, 3 million Iranians have registered themselves as volunteers for jihad. So that's pretty concerning. 3 million Iranians have registered as volunteers for jihad. And for the first time since 1982, the entire IDF armored corps was called up for military service. This is more than 1,000 Merkava battle tanks. Okay. So the last time they called up that many battle tanks was in the Lebanon War in 1982. Okay. So more than 1,000 tanks have been called up by the Israeli military. 1,000 tanks. Okay. And over 300,000 troops. That's massive, guys. That is just insane. Okay, they're obviously preparing for more than just a counter-terror operation in Gaza. They're preparing for all-out war with all their neighbors, okay, in case Hezbollah gets involved, in case Egypt gets involved, in case Syria gets involved, in case Iran gets involved, and anybody else, okay? You don't prepare 1,000+ battle tanks and 360,000 troops just to take out some terrorists, okay? You don't do that. This is a preparation for a full-scale war, okay? They're concerned that they're going to get attacked from all sides once they go into Gaza, all right? We have some concerning information coming out of Iraq. Apparently, 2 drones were targeting U.S. forces at the Ain al-Assad air base in Iraq's Anbar province. And these drones were intercepted by U.S. forces, but they were going after those U.S. forces, okay? So we see these pro-Iranian militias, we see these jihadists starting to target American bases now. They were targeting embassies last night. I just mentioned the sponsor for this emergency update, which is My Patriot Supply. If you use the link in the description below this video, you can get 25% off of My Patriot Supply emergency food. And that link is preparewithNYPrepper.com. And they have a 3-month emergency food supply. And they also have a 2-week emergency food supply. But if you get the 3-month emergency food supply, you're basically going to be set for any scenario. It's a variety of food. It's not just, the same thing every day that you're going to get bored of. They have a variety of different things. They have breakfasts, lunch, dinner, drinks, snacks. All the food is in 6 rugged, water-resistant buckets, and those buckets are about the size of like a 5-gallon bucket. So they don't take up a lot of space. And then they have a 2-week emergency food supply, which I think is the absolute minimum everybody should have. And that entire 2-week emergency food supply is put into one of these buckets, which is very convenient, especially if you're an outdoorsman. You can bring one of these with you if you're going out into the wilderness. And it has a 25-year shelf life if you store it correctly in a temperature stable environment, so you really can't go wrong. Check it out, preparewithNYPrepper.com, 25% off of My Patriot Supply emergency food. Israel is evacuating its embassy staff from Egypt. They're also evacuating their diplomatic mission from Morocco. And as of right now, Lebanese people are trying to storm the U.S. embassy in Lebanon. And apparently, the Lebanese military has been deployed to the area to protect the embassy. We have crowds of people at the Israeli embassy in the Jordanian capital right now. We have the Israeli and U.S. embassies in Buenos Aires, Argentina, being evacuated due to bomb threats. We have in southern Israel, Hezbollah targeting the IDF Ras Naquara naval base at the Jal al-Alam site with an anti-tank guided missile, and the Israeli army is currently bombing the forests of the region in response. Okay, so Hezbollah targeting an IDF naval base today. We have multiple embassies around the world being attacked, U.S. and Israeli embassies. Total chaos last night in Turkey. They were trying to surround this American base in Turkey, okay? It's just absolute insanity what's going on. In France, there were several airports evacuated after reports of security threats. These were airports in Lyon, in Lille, Toulouse, and Nice. Okay, so 4 airports evacuated due to security threats, and France has issued a do not travel advisory for its citizens for Lebanon. So they're telling their citizens do not go to Lebanon. Okay, so very concerning information, guys. It looks like something may happen in Lebanon. Okay, that's what it seems like. But let me play another video for you. Here's Biden meeting with Netanyahu and his defense minister and his cabinet here. We can listen to what Biden had to say.
Thank you,
Mr. Prime Minister, in the wake of Hamas's appalling terrorist assault, it was brutal, inhumane, almost beyond belief what they did. This cabinet came together and standing strong, standing united, and I want you to know you're not alone. You are not alone. As I emphasized earlier, we will continue to have Israel's back as you work to defend your people. We'll continue to work with you and partners across the region to prevent more tragedy to innocent civilians. 75 years ago, your founders declared that this nation would be one based, quote, based on freedom, justice, and peace. Based on freedom, justice, and peace. The United States stands with you in defense of that freedom, in pursuit of that justice, and in support of that peace. Today, tomorrow, and always, we promise you.
Okay, so he's basically promising that they're going to stand with Israel, showing full support to Israel. And like I said, very interesting that Biden blamed Hamas for the hospital attack. Okay, I was surprised by that. I want to just play what Putin said about the fighter jets that he's going to be deploying with the hypersonic missiles in the Black Sea. So I'm going to just read to you what he says because it's in Russian. They just moved 2 aviation strike groups into the Mediterranean Sea. I want to say this is not a threat, what I'm going to say now.
Не угроза, то, что я сейчас скажу, о чем вас проинформирую.
And what I will inform you about.
Но по моему поручению.
But on my behalf, the Russian Air Force, the Russian Space Forces,
военно-воздушные силы, военно-космические силы России начинают на постоянном.
Are starting on an ongoing basis.
На основе патрулирования.
Patrols.
В нейтральной.
In the neutral zone.
Зоне воздушного пространства.
Of the airspace in the Black Sea.
Черном море. И наши самолеты МиГ-30.
And our planes MiG-31 armed with Kinzhal hypersonic missiles.
Вооружены комплексами «Кинжал». Они, как известно,
they are known to have a range of
имеют дальность свыше
over 1,000 kilometers at Mach 9 speed.
Okay.
So this is very concerning, you know, even though he says that this is not a threat, what I'm going to say now, but it is a threat, okay? You're not moving hypersonic capable jets into an area unless you plan to make long-range strikes with them, okay? And I want to just show you on the map here, the range of the hypersonic missile can easily reach the eastern Mediterranean from the Black Sea. Okay, look at the distance here, 984 kilometers from the central part of the eastern Med. This is where the aircraft carriers are, okay, where they're going to be right here. And then you can see the southern part of the Black Sea. That's 1,000 kilometers away. So these air patrols that Putin is sending out into the Black Sea, make no mistake about it, their primary purpose is to strike American aircraft carriers, okay? Should the need arise, you know, for whatever reason, if the situation escalates in the Middle East, if let's say U.S. aircraft carriers are going to start bombarding Lebanon or Syria or Iran especially, these are all Russian allies. So then Russian fighter jets in the Black Sea would be able to launch their Kinzhal missiles at American naval ships, especially the aircraft carrier. That's the only reason Putin would put those combat air patrols in the Black Sea with the long-range hypersonic missiles. There's no other reason, okay? So this is very concerning, guys. Okay, it shows that Russia is backing all these countries in the Middle East that are against Israel. Okay, this is him basically warning the West, if you do something crazy, we're gonna retaliate, and we have assets that are able to hit you. So this is very concerning, guys. So last night we had another high priority ISR plane go into the Baltics and along the Finnish Russian border. This is a combat Sentinel plane, and this is the fifth time in the last 2 weeks that one of these combat Sentinel planes was sent into the Baltics. And this time it actually went up into Finland, but the US only has two of these, and these planes are used to provide intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance information to the president of the US and the top generals. Okay. So they only send this thing out to an area if the president or the top generals need more information about something. So for them to send this plane up into the Baltics 5 times in the last 2 weeks tells me that they're concerned about something going down in the Baltics. Okay, so my concern is that we're going to see multiple fronts popping off in the coming days. A war in the Middle East. We're going to see Russia attack the Baltics. We may see North Korea attack South Korea, and then possibly China attack Taiwan. Okay, we may see all these fronts open up at once, basically turning into a world war. Okay, but there's a lot of indications that Russia is preparing to attack the Baltics. Okay. And here's just a more zoomed in look at this ISR plane for the president. So you can see it flew through the Suwalki Gap. This is the Russian exclave of Kaliningrad, sandwiched between Lithuania and Poland. There was another P-8 Poseidon sub-hunter plane this morning patrolling off the coast of Kaliningrad. It's probably still up right now. And we have an RC-135 rivet joint intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance plane patrolling off the coast of Israel right now, obviously because the president is there. And then also we have more C-17 Globemasters and various types of NATO cargo planes going into Israel. These are military cargo planes, probably loaded with weapons and ammunition and various types of military cargo. So that's pretty much it for this one, guys. Wanted to just give you this quick morning update. I will be back this afternoon with another update and then probably another one in the evening. But anything can happen, guys. Okay, today is the day of rage as declared by Hezbollah. So we could see more craziness at U.S. embassies in the Middle East. And we have to be on high alert for terror attacks here in America over the next few days, okay, and the next few weeks. It's only going to get worse and worse. The situation is not going to get any better anytime soon. If anything, it's going to escalate, okay? And so I expect a big escalation at the end of this week when Biden and Putin return home from their visits and, the decisions are made on what they're going to do and what the strategy is. So I expect the end of this week into the weekend for all hell to break loose around the world, at least in the Middle East, potentially in the Baltics as well. But if anything pops off, I'll definitely go live as much as I can 24/7 if I have to. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you can get notified of any new updates and when I go live. So other than that, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.